Why is it a mistake to rely solely on government funding or external services when we're looking to improve mental health and wellbeing in our communities? Now, what I just started talking about is that I just really wanted to clear up that belief that we often have, and that is that if we just had more government funding, then everything would be fixed and it would be a magic solution, which I wish was the case, but unfortunately it's not the truth. And as I was saying, government and top-down solutions are often, for the most part, generic because they're designed for the masses, they're designed for the majority, but they really miss the unique needs of our own individual communities, which are very different in every community, wherever you might be. And as I was saying, services are really overstretched when it comes to government funding, and rural communities are often missing out. And I was just starting to talk about the fact that earlier this week on Monday, I spoke on a panel for the University of Western Australia, and there was a panel of people. They're trying to encourage uni students, medical students, health professionals to go out into rural communities to work. So we had a variety of us. I was one of the people, and there was different people. There was someone in Broome, the north of Western Australia, and someone down in Albany in the southern Western Australia. But we were all sharing the same discussions, and very much the idea that people in rural areas really have to wear many hats to compensate for what is missing across our community. So certainly the funding that does come out for rural areas often gets, it gets spread very thin, which is really frustrating. The other thing that tends to happen with government funding is that it can often be short term and it can be quite conditional. I help a lot of communities, and certainly when writing grant ideas, people have amazing ideas, but they have to fit it into the constraints of the government grant funding. When they get funding from other sources like sponsorship and sort of outreach things, there's a lot more flexibility with the way funding can be spent. The other thing that happens is that when it's short-term funding, once the money runs out, so does the program and so does the impact. And then we're just back to square one. Have you ever felt like every few years it feels like you're reinventing the wheel because funding's run out, or perhaps because a program's been implemented but it doesn't have the widespread impact that you'd been hoping for when the government programs come in? Honestly, that cycle is really exhausting, and it just doesn't build lasting change. It doesn't build a cultural shift around what it is that you're trying to improve. And what tends to happen is that we have these key reoccurring social issues that don't necessarily get addressed or adjusted and moved to, away from. So I guess the question is, what is the alternative? What should we be doing if we're not relying just on government funding? So real lasting change happens when locals take ownership instead of waiting for outside people to create solutions. I talk to so many people who have incredible passion. They have the solutions. They have the ideas. They don't need someone telling them how to do it, because these passionate people, you as a passionate person, you have the ideas. So when we really empower and hold on to that idea, it allows us to build on the strengths that are already in our community, that are already out there. And we can really look at what's already working, but we can also look, which is a real point of difference, at what's preventing current solutions from reaching the people who actually need the support. And it helps us really look at solutions and identify where are they getting stuck, what's preventing them from being successful, and why aren't they working, and how can we do it differently or network or share our problems to make a more effective solution. Now, when we do that, that is where sustainable grassroots change actually is born. And the exciting part is when communities step up, when individuals step up to be community wellbeing change makers, funding is out there to support those ideas, to support your ideas. Now, funding bodies are actually much more likely to back your ideas long term when they really see that there's been this community of buy-in and that the ownership is coming from the grassroots level and you're building from there. It's a really, I get asked quite a lot about funding, but it's less about funding at that end point and more about how we go about it from the start. And then it comes from this grassroots and you're connecting with other people across the local area. All right, so I want to hear from you for a second. Have you ever had a wellbeing initiative in your community that was amazing, but then it just disappeared when you stopped pushing? Or have you seen a really great project, or maybe you've run a really great project or a great initiative and it just vanished when the funding ran out? I just want you to share that with me in the comments, because I know myself, part of the reason why I started this was because living in a rural community, I didn't want to just keep reinventing the wheel. It feels that we have the same conversations over and over again. And I firmly believe when we do something, let's do it impactfully, let's do it well, so we change the culture around that behaviour, so we move forward instead of just regurgitating the same stuff and never actually having progress. It's so very pivotal. So I'd really love to know how that's shown up for you, both in your own work, but also in your community, and what you've seen happen in that sort of space. Now, here's the good news. It is absolutely possible to build initiatives that don't fizzle out once the money dries up. It's just about designing them differently right from the get-go and right from the start. Now, that's exactly what I teach inside my Community Wellbeing Changemaker membership, because it's all about taking that frustration and transforming it into momentum by using a proven process and really building solutions that last and that are supported by ongoing substantial funding. Now, you might have heard me already mention, but the doors are currently closed, but I will be opening them again soon. And if you're curious about what that looks like and potentially being part of it, then you can jump on that waitlist now. And I've actually dropped it into the comments of the last video, not this one, but I will drop it into this one when I finish, because as we all know, we have to be clever with technology and, problem solve as we go. And if you jump on that waitlist, you'll know when it first opens and you'll be in the loop. Now, I just wanted to remind you that next time you feel frustrated that government funding or outside services just aren't fixing the cracks, I want you to pause for a moment and remember that you don't have to wait. You and your community have everything that you need to get started. You just have to stop waiting for somebody else to fix it and actually start building the solutions that your community is desperately crying out for. I'm going to stop there now. Thank you for joining me today, whether you've joined me in the first video or the second video or both videos. I'm looking forward to reading some of your comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.